Hello, this is Jer playing Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I tested this Explorer rocket, which is much bigger on the inside than the outside. Some issues were discovered, but we patched those up. One of which was Exosuit Forge, another one is some pipes, wires that weren't fully connected, but I think we are good now. And I'm ready for another test of this rocket. This time we're going to go to the oily asteroid over here. While that's going on, making some changes, I'm packing some of the iron ore that we've collected from that last mission. And we're producing pepper bread and some other unique stuff in the gas range, thanks to all the natural gas. Now, one of the things that did go wrong, unfortunately, we got a mix of oxygen and natural gas collected from this rocket. But a little bit of filtering when that drains out. The next time through, I'll avoid that situation. But I see tons of pips around, and they act as decoration. I think value, a little bit, but I think we need to clean that up. So I'm gonna change this, make it similar to what I'm doing over on this asteroid with the hatches and automatically reloading stables and creating meat from them. Starting to put together this area for the pips and unloading some water in this rocket. This mission that I'm going on to explore, it's going to be a longer mission. The mission over here to Twigsta that I did last episode was much shorter. I just wanted to throw in a bunch of natural gas, collect some iron ore, and get out of here. And that's what I did, and that went okay. But definitely we need to have a better rocket for this mission. So glad I did that in that order. I'm going to be here for a lot longer, I suspect. I want to get down. There's a lot more difficult digging. I want some fossil. I want lead. Lead is probably the top of my list over here. But yeah, just to make sure that we survive a long enough time, let's make sure we've got water. We've got that water storage area over here. Just load that up with lots of future oxygen for the dupes to be able to breathe while they're exploring the oily asteroid. Just looking at some of these rooms, I was realizing I could potentially merge the Exosuit Forge with the Orbital Data Collection Lab into one room. That would have given 3 private bedrooms. And then I realized I don't have a way for this rocket to get back. This is a carbon dioxide rocket. Now, I'm going to be switching to Radbolt rocket soon enough. But for this particular journey, I'm still relying on carbon dioxide. So I need to make sure that I've got this somewheres on board. Thought about making infinite storage, but you know what? As I mentioned, I'm going to be switching to Radbolt. This may be the 1 or 2 last journeys I make in carbon dioxide. So let's throw some carbon dioxide in here before we actually take off. Just to make sure the dupes that go to the oily asteroid can get back with all that lead. So I believe we've completed this spot for the pips. What I'm going to get the dupes to do, drop pip eggs here, a couple pip and regular pip eggs at high priority. And opening up the old area that I was storing those pip eggs, that's right here. So we've got a few of them, so they're going to move over here. When they hatch, they'll turn to meat. And then that's going to populate this. We're going to have at least 10 pips over here so that we can repopulate the stable automatically. The only thing is, I think I may want a conveyor loader for meat. Get that taken out of the room so it goes into the deep freeze. I think the line for that is, this is the food line right down here. Just realized there's one thing I didn't test with this rocket. That is the food poisoning killing system. What's my water say? Okay, no, I suspect that it was going to work, but this is the first time kind of building a miniaturized version of this. That's essentially pushing water back into this storage. So I really want to make sure that that is working. So glad to see that. Carbon dioxide is nearly filled up. We're going to be taking off pretty soon. Just realized I've created an infinite loop in a way that I wasn't expecting, so what I'm going to do, we'll disable this, otherwise the dupes are just going to go in infinite loop forever. And let's lock. I think as long as I lock, oh, you should probably be standing on the other side of that door. Oh, which one did I lock? I think I locked the wrong one. Because I want this one to be controlled by automation. But this one hopefully is going to prevent dupes from getting out even when this door is open. There we are. We saw this auto sweeper bring in some eggs, and that's exactly how that should have worked. That's allowing this to repopulate itself. The only thing is I'm a little concerned whether the dupes, if this door is open, whether the dupes can still get through even with that door being locked. I'm pretty sure not. Making another change here, this time to the automation for the Drekos. I'm going to have to turn off egg dropping temporarily. I had an automated wire go across here, and I want to send in a conveyor loader, and I don't want that to be disabled. So, going to do rewiring of that. This is essentially going to pick up meat. I'm suspecting I'm going to get a decent amount of meat from these Drekos over time. Might as well automate the process of that meat heading towards the deep freezer. Just started to think to myself, why don't we put in a rover module and some refined metal, in this case iron, and on the way to this oily asteroid, we'll stop the atmosphere here and we'll throw that down because we've never visited this world before. So that would actually be useful to have at least a rover and some refined metal over there while we're over here doing some collection of lead and other resources. This is the second time sending Explorer on a mission. This one is going to be a much longer mission. We're going to see how we fare. Just love the fact that, oh my goodness, someone got here and just passed out. I just love the fact that they can take their Atmo suits off automatically as long as they don't pass out when they get in. Boots will eventually wake up though, and I'm sure they'll take off their suit in time. Alright, so we are going to begin this launch and make sure that these dupes survive, have all the resources to do what they need to do, and get back safely and efficiently. We're making a stop over here, throw down the rover and some metal. We're going to be there in 1.1 cycles. Inside the rocket, we should have a good amount of food. 150,000 calories stored down here in a deep frozen state, so it's not going to go bad. This time, rocket now has astronomy status while we're traveling around, so we can actually look into the distance and discover what there is to see. So this is kind of a really nice thing to have while we're traveling, doing something else so dupes can keep themselves busy exploring space. Been pumping salt water out of here. This used to be an ice melting place. It has had a very good effect on the temperature. This used to be a pretty warm area. Now it's going to be a comfortable area to start some construction now that this is all opened up. So I'm going to disassemble everything and then make way for future development. Dupes nearly on the atmosphere of Stinkani, just seconds away. So we're going to deploy the metal and deploy a rover. So metal has smashed down. Let's find a spot closest to most of the metal. Unfortunately, it's kind of scattered. I gave myself just the right amount of metal to make a platform. So this rover is going to have to access each 4 of these. Let's go in the center of the 4. That rover's going to land right there. We're going to have to start digging a path up to each of these so that we can open them up and build a platform for a future mission. But yeah, let's not forget our dupes are now idle here. we want to send them over to this oily asteroid, which already has a platform. And I've got to now wait for them to arrive, but also keep this rover busy on this new asteroid, which Stinkani. So I'll do that. I did not realize that these little... Oh, wait, I think I know. I can't open them, can I? Oh, yeah. This is a slightly annoying bug. I'm going to restart my game, and I'm expecting this is going to fall down, and I'll be able to select them. We'll see here in a second. Just reloaded my game. Let's see. For the second play. Ah! Awesome, there we are. So now we can empty this guy here. This guy here, and I should have exactly the amount I need to make a rocket platform, or at least supply the material for a rocket platform. So that's a task the dupes don't have to do when they land here with the Trailblazer. Over on the main base, I'm putting a pump in place to get rid of the salt water. I'm just going to be essentially putting it into the desalinator for water. That's going to open up areas for construction. Now that we're kind of at this point where I've got my super rocket created, I just want to make a little bit more space for development, because I've got a few ideas that I want to do around the base. The dupes are landed. So we don't need these modules anymore. We'll get rid of those. And I should see... Yeah, there we are. When the dupes... This is so awesome. So when the dupes are going out, they're putting atmosuits on, which is amazing. So yeah, I'll let these two modules essentially be destructed. Inside the rocket, we'll start the process of refueling carbon dioxide with itself, which is really awesome. So carbon dioxide is going to go out. I can't really do the output pipe. Well, I guess I technically can. I'm going to have an output pipe here, but technically I know once this collapses, it's going to be right here. That's going to send carbon dioxide in. But, now that we are here, let's get into this zone and start digging out some lead and fossil. Rover on this world has opened up all the metal. So we've got 800 kilograms of iron, just enough to make a rocket platform. So we're going to build a ladder, throw the iron in there, and then with any remaining time, it's kind of a bonus because the super rocket that's landing has everything they need to survive, plus keep morale up. And this rover can't dig through granite, so they can get down here. There's really no point in setting up much of a base, to be honest. But I'll dig down as far as I can. But as long as we get iron here, I'm pretty much happy with this little mission. One of the first things I'm getting these dupes to do is put in a fire pole, just to get them to move down into this zone a little bit quicker. Before we actually dig in here, I decided, you know what, why don't we just take the water that we've got here, throw it into the rocket. And I planned earlier too to have this guy here essentially store water for future mission. I wasn't necessarily thinking that I'd have a super rocket, but water's sitting there, why don't we just throw it into the rocket rather than waste it? I also don't really think we need this guy operating, since the dupes have atmosuits. This pump is transferring some water to the rocket. I don't want to dig into this area just yet, because that would heat up the liquid, and I don't want very warm water going to my rocket. So we decided we're going to do a little bit of digging for iron ore, load that into the rockets. Once this area is clear water and not sitting inside a rocket, we'll continue on with this mission of getting some lead and fossil. Tearing up this area. It is cycle 250. So as the dupes are on this asteroid, notice that rockets here looking in space. That's not a bad thing. So eventually the area is going to be complete and they're going to contribute towards the digging mission. But just looking at the things that I need to pay attention to decide whether we need to get out of here quick. A couple things. Calories. 140 plus 1,000 calories. Not a problem there. But if this ever does get low, that's definitely a sign of getting home. Obviously, water getting low would be another one. But for the moment, we actually have water going into the rocket. More than we're spending it on oxygen. So that's a good thing. Now, because the Atmos suits have the exosuit forge here, and we've got lots of reed fiber, I'm not worried about the Atmos suits. Temperature is another thing. We're quite comfortable. We're doing temperature management over here on our rocket, so I don't see why we couldn't hang around here until we get all the resources we want. So, probably as much lead as we can possibly get, iron ore, and fossil. How are we doing currently? Last little bit of water. It's just about to be pumped in. And we've carved out quite a bit of iron ore. We should start the process of getting that into the rocket now. So here we are, carving a path into the oil biome. We're going to be collecting some lead initially, then some fossil. And we'll keep exploring this area while we continue to get all these great resources. Just realized we very much still had an infinite loop issue with pip eggs being dropped off over here. So even though I'm short in metal, I'm choosing to spend a little bit here to take these eggs and dump them here. Just make sure that where I'm dumping, or I'm going to dump them here. Just going to make sure none of these auto sweepers have access to these eggs. Because as much as I don't want the dupes to be an infinite loop carrying eggs, I don't want the same thing happen to auto sweepers either. We have nearly 500,000 calories. Not only that, but high quality food. We're having pepper bread over 100,000 calories, barbecue over 100,000 calories. I don't think we need a bristle plant farm anymore, so we can disassemble that. We didn't have fertilizer anyways. Get rid of these doors as well. We've reached the first orchard plant here. My plan for dealing with this, I could just ignore it. I mean, the dupes do have Atmos suits. But I'm just going to pump out the air in here into space. It's going to the top, being let out over here, because if the air gets thin enough, all those zombie spores are going to die anyways. That just prevents this whole asteroid from being covered with zombie spores. Which may not matter, but I don't know what I plan to do in this asteroid later on, so I'm going to make sure we don't get that scenario happening. Did not take long to get rid of the scorched plants. We don't have any zombie spores in the air. So we can stop this pumping and continue on with digging out this whole area, loading up this lead. Now I'm just thinking to myself, this lead's going to be pretty hot. As it gets loaded into here, this could get pretty warm, so we might want some radiant pipes. Let's see, we don't have aluminum. We'll just put some right along there. Also don't see this cycling around. That might be an issue. I'm going to look into that. So I had to make a cut right here to get this system running again. That means we're no longer going to be able to output from the second thermal regulator. For the moment, that doesn't seem to be a problem. They seem to be able to only get away, or seem to be able to get away with only one of them, so not terribly concerned, but 90 degrees. If I do want to get in here, I better do it sooner than later. I don't think the dupes are enjoying standing in very hot liquid. We'll be in here for a very short period of time when I'm changing the output, so it's going to go along here, and I'll have to reattach it at this end. We'll have to do some repiping to make a little bit of room right here. I've reached my first neurovacillator in this game, so I'm going to give this to Hammer. Usually I would get access to this much earlier, but I guess that's the nature of the Moonlit Cluster. Also discovered this machine here, but probably not going to be using that, to be honest, given its location. Oh, whoops, yeah, I forgot I have to click complete, don't I? Otherwise you would stay there forever. Extra health, so that means you can go to more dangerous areas and I'm not as concerned. Cool, well, there it is. Oh, also we can get, not that I'm expecting anything great, we can rummage in here as well. While those three dupes are on the oily asteroid, decided to put together a metal refinery with a self-cooling system. At the same time, since I'm going to have this hot steam area, we're going to put an aqua tuner in. Not needing it at the moment, but it's going to be available to us when we do want to use that. So to make this run, essentially we've got a metal refinery, of course, 2 steam turbines. Got aluminum pipes going through here. Everything, well, these 2 machines anyway, are made out of steel. This is liquid reservoir. It's going to be pushing in and out petroleum. And I don't have petroleum yet, but I'm going to go and create that soon. So we have a little bit of crude oil. And I just realized we don't have any slickers being wrangled. Ah, that's because of this. Okay. Forgot that setting. We need those back over here, dupes. But in the meantime, let's pump the crude oil that we do have over. This is making its way all across the base towards the refinery. That's pushing petroleum in here. And that will build up in this location. I might have to temporarily disable this to kind of let it accumulate. But it looks like it's working, so petroleum is going to be going through here. We need to create a vacuum. We're going to seal it off first, but I've got a pump in there made out of steel. I don't really need to, because I don't care if it breaks later, but the other thing is I need to get heavy watt wire in here, ideally at least, for this guy. So what I'm doing here is I've got a mini pump. I'm going to be putting this little chamber through, and I've got heavy watt joint plate, got 2 of them. I'm going to seal this off. This is going to be a vacuum area. It's just going to prevent the heat from here to seeping out in my base via this guy. Starting the process of creating a vacuum in here. Just dump some liquid on these steam turbines just to help keep them cool. I would say these dupes have thoroughly dug out quite a bit of material. Lead, fossil, iron ore. It didn't go after every single piece, but we got quite a bit. So it went down into this oil biome, got quite a bit down here, continued on. Got a fire pole, entered another one, got some lead from here, and then yet another one here, got that dry of lead. And this is a bit of a bigger one, but we got down here, didn't bother going all the way down. A few pieces of lead remain, so that's being put into the rocket. In the rocket Explorer, we've got bins all over the place, some out here now, we've got some in some of these rooms. That has had a warming effect on this rocket, so thankfully this thermoregulator is going to run and to handle that. But yeah, I'll just wait maybe one more cycle and we're going to take off. We've got with us at this point 15 tons of fossil, 120 tons of iron ore, and 184 tons of lead. In this setup here, I'm dumping some water. This is essentially what's going to turn to steam, and both the metal refinery and aqua tuner is going to use that to keep itself cool, and the steam turbines are going to deal with keeping the steam itself cool in this whole setup. Good. Don't have vacuum in that area yet. I will though once I have this mini pump outputting all the gas that's in there. Here is the first piece of metal being cranked out in my new refinery. So what's going to happen, I'm going to get really hot petroleum going out here and into that zone. And that's going to heat up this liquid, which is going to turn to steam in time. Well, I don't see any more lead here, so I think it is time to go. Let's get everyone in the rocket. All 3 dupes on board, please. We are going back home.
Going to be dropping off all this lead, iron ore, and fossil. So, what are we? 88,000 calories, so still did good that way. Lots of liquid. I see oxygen in here, so yeah, this rocket did really well. The only fail, minor thing, and I don't know that it's super needed, but I couldn't figure out how to easily get this second thermo echo tuner going happy, but I think I'm just going to live with that fact on this rocket. There'll be other rockets in the future where I can improve things further. But yeah, this, super happy to have Exosuit Forge. I would not be in the current situation if I didn't have that on board. So let's go. It's acknowledge the warnings that I won't be able to get back here. Well, that's fine because we're going to the homeworld. Awesome mission. So in the end, we actually got 190, almost 200 tons of lead. Haha, great. So this rocket is back. What we're currently doing is unloading all the great material that we got here. That's going to be a little bit warm, so we've got this brine line that's going to be going around, making sure things don't get too hot in this zone. Having a look in a new metal refinery. I've been cranking out lots of steel. Got a project coming up in the future for that. So already this water has turned to steam. These steam turbines are running. The other thing is I've got this brine line going through, taking its temperature as it's coming out, and running an aqua tumor if it's needed. It's not needed right now. It's still this temperature exchange is still quite effective.
I've got some slug eggs, so I made this little room to take power from them while they're sleeping. My natural gas rocket has finally run dry. So we've been cooking all kinds of different things in the gas range, up to 745,000 calories. So that is really good. I'm going to send that rocket back sometime to get some more natural gas. But right now, we're just concentrating on emptying this rocket of all the lead and iron ore. Starting to feel like a little bit of a hoarder with all these storage bins. Probably way more lead and iron ore than I'm going to need over the next little bit. But there it is. I think that may be a consequence just of the fact that I've been without it for so long. I've been short metal ore. That I really want to get as much as I could. But that's it. Now we've got it sitting here in our base. Tons and tons of that. Plus this new metal refinery setup. So I can run this without heating up the world. Because this has got a temperature management system in it. It also has power production. So some of the power that is used to make the metal refinery, we're getting back. Which is really cool. We also have a thermo aqua tuner. Don't really need it at the moment, but if things were to heat up on our base, let's look at the overall temperature of this base. Yeah, we're pretty comfortable around everywhere. So even in this warm zone, that's actually starting to cool down because I'm dumping the brine, excess brine over there. Also starting to take this brine over here to be processed by the desalinators. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Thanks for anyone that subscribed, liked. Hopefully I will see you next time. I think the next adventure is to send this rocket over to Stinkany. I want to get some clay and gold. And I also have other plans around the base, so I will see you then.